Okay, well, let's get into our fourth questions.
Which is it my? Oh, it is my question.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, fuck. Okay, fourth questions. You said.
hmm
I should hit up the mandatory Star Wars question of the day. Then I was gonna finish with it, but my finishing question is so much better. So
Okay.
I'm gonna move Star Wars up to number 4. 2 episodes ago, we ranked the movies. Last episode, we ranked the heroes. Now
Mhm.
it's time to rank the villains. So,
Okay. I figured.
every main villain of the Skywalker saga, not including spin offs,
hmm
rank them. We have Darth Maul, Count Dooku, General Grievous, Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine, Supreme Leader Snoke, and Kylo Ren. I was torn
Okay.
on putting Snoke in, but I decided to.
So there's 7 total.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I wrote them down on my sticky note here. So Darth. Okay, well, okay. I actually have a video. I'm gonna plug, shameless plug. This is on my personal channel, Jason Aiello. I explain why Palpatine is the goat. Link to that in description. So, in summary, the reason why he's the goat is because he by far has the most impressive accomplishments out of any villain in the Star Wars universe. Conquered the galaxy, wrote books, turned the most powerful Jedi into his Sith apprentice, really a Sith slave, and actually brought a lot of peace to the galaxy despite being a horrible person. Um, so Emperor Palpatine is my goat in my opinion. I think he's actually not only the goat of Star Wars villains, arguably the goat of all villains, definitely top 3.
You and I
Um,
already disagree.
okay. Next at number 2, we're going to go Darth Vader. I mean, it's a very easy choice there. He's arguably the most iconic thing associated with Star Wars. When you hear his breathing, you know some shit's about to go down. Just hearing his breathing, if I was a rebel soldier, that's like the ultimate anxiety, the ultimate I know I'm about to die kind of thing. And obviously, he threw the emperor down the shaft, so he ended up saving the rebellion, and he was the chosen one. He fulfilled the prophecy.
At
So
least
shout
for
out to
another 30 years until Disney decided to bring Palpatine back.
yeah, which we're not going to talk about that. We don't count the sequels in this household. So shout out to Qui-Gon for having the premonition to know that Anakin was the chosen one. So let's see who else I got on this list now. So we have the Emperor and Vader off of it. I'm going to go ahead and put Count Dooku at number 3. A very classy villain. He's like a James Bond villain. He's on the same level as that. I'm pretty sure he was a James Bond villain,
He
wasn't he?
was the inspiration for James Bond. Christopher
Yes.
Lee was. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Count Dooku, just the ultimate classy villain. As who's the Jedi with the big head? Um,
The guy with the penis head?
yes,
Kiadi Mundi?
yeah, Kiadi Mundi. Kiadi Mundi. Remember in Episode 1 when he's like, Dooku's not a murderer. He's a political idealist.
Episode 2.
Oh, Episode 2. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So shout out to the galaxy's best political idealist.
And
I mean,
then Mace Windu's like, Count Dooku was once a Jedi. Killing people isn't in his nature. He's not a Jedi anymore.
yeah. I also think Count Dooku had amazing swag, awesome lightsaber with the curved hilt. Okay, well, let's just get this right off the bat. For a period, he was definitely the best swordsman in the galaxy next to Yoda.
Yeah.
Probably that had to do with the fact that he was Yoda's apprentice. But yeah, I'm definitely putting Count Dooku at number 3. Next on the list, it's kind of a close call between Maul and Grievous. So I'll ask you this: can we include the Clone Wars, or just off the movies?
I'll let you include based off what you know from the show.
Okay, well, I just started the Clone Wars, so I actually don't know why I asked you that question because I haven't seen any of them all yet.
So it doesn't affect your ranking at all.
It doesn't affect my answer, but if I'm going off the movies, okay, at least the Darth Maul killed Qui-Gon. General Grievous was just a coughing pussy that entire movie. So we're gonna go at the 4th spot, Darth Maul, and at the 5th spot, Grievous. I think Grievous's character had so much potential. For any Star Wars fans out there, if you haven't seen the original Clone Wars from 2003, you gotta watch it. That is the perfect General Grievous, and I think that it's the way Grievous should have been depicted. I think Disney and even the Clone Wars made a mistake in not depicting Grievous in that way. But that's just my personal opinion on that. Okay, next we get into our last two, Kylo Ren and Supreme Leader Snoke. Okay, so listen, I really like Adam Driver's acting. I just think that I just thought that his character turning to evil, it was okay, the reason why I put him so low on this list, and there's a great video by this YouTuber named Vito. I'm going to screen record a little bit of his video and put it in here, where he points out the fact that after Kylo Ren finds out that Emperor Palpatine has been the one making these voices in his head, Kylo Ren, instead of realizing that his entire life is a lie and killing the Emperor, is just what are you going to do? Yeah, this is how my cookie crumbles. Which was really fucking stupid, and that's not Adam Driver's fault. Amazing acting. I put Adam Driver's acting as the best acting out of any of the villains, but the character itself was just stupid in my opinion. If they centered the sequels more around him, wait, what'd you say?
Hot take.
Hot take.
You're pissing off a lot of people because even sequel haters love Kylo Ren.
I'm not a fan of Kylo Ren. He's an over-emotional Darth Vader wannabe. I said my piece, and his stupid power
here first,
and his stupid force power of being able to force call Rey, just stupid power.
That's because they're a dyad.
I don't care. The whole Rey Kylo Ren thing was so stupid, but that's a conversation for another time. There's absolutely no way two people like that would fall in love. Can you imagine them telling people how they met, at a dinner party?
Yeah, they met because Kylo was torturing her for information.
Yeah.
What kind of weird fetishes does Rey have?
So I'm sorry, Star Wars fans. And again, I just want to make my point clear. It's not Kylo Ren, the concept of the character's fault. It's not Adam Driver's fault. I think it's the failure of Disney, why he lands so low on this list. And last but not least, Supreme Leader Snoke. Can we just talk about one of the most useless but most hyped up villains ever? This guy was supposed to be fucking powerful. He was supposed to be the shit. And he just gets chopped in half like that. I kind of felt anticlimactic, honestly. I wanted to see a fight. Okay. I wanted to see Snoke in a fight.
Yeah, that's fair. In his first scene, he bounces force lightning off of the floor.
Yeah,
that's pretty badass.
Yeah. I do, again, cool character concept, just failed by Disney. If you guys can't tell, I'm really a big retractor of the sequels. But to recap, my list is Emperor, from best to worst: Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Count Dooku, Darth Maul, General Grievous, Kylo Ren, Supreme Leader Snoke.
Okay.
So how about you?
All right. There's going to be some differences on this.
Okay.
At the tippy top, Darth Vader.
Okay.
I am a Darth Vader dick sucker. I love his character arc. He sounds badass. He looks badass. He has three of the coolest lightsaber duels in Star Wars because he fights Ahsoka in Rebels, which is pretty cool. But sticking to movies, I mean, the fight between him and Luke is awesome. So yeah, Vader would be my number one. One of my favorite characters of all time. He's probably right below Batman. Number two, Emperor Palpatine, for the exact same reasons you said, and I love his laugh.
Yes, iconic laugh. Laugh.
Now, 3 and 4 is a close battle.
Okay.
Because I was going to put Kylo third.
Okay.
Third. I held up 2 fingers like a dipshit. I was going to put Kylo third.
Yeah.
But Maul just barely beats him because Maul looks like a badass. He's got the double lightsaber. And he kills the main character. He fights 2 Jedi at once, one of them being a master, and kills him. And he's an apprentice.
That's true. That's true.
So that's pretty cool. He comes back in Clone Wars and does all his shit, but even just sticking to the movies, he's one of the best villains.
Well, it shows the power of the dark side.
Yeah. And then number 4, we got Kylo Ren.
Okay.
He would have been third if they didn't make him a good guy in Rise of Skywalker. Because his whole arc in 8 is the end of it. Luke motherfucking Skywalker shows up like the coolest badass in the galaxy. And he's like, look, I can't save Ben. And Leia's like, yeah, I know you can't. And just that cool moment of Luke and Leia both knowing he's gone is so cool.
Yeah.
And I wish he stayed a villain and he's died as a villain.
Yes.
Because that's something we never got, is the hero going evil and staying evil. We've gotten plenty of evil going good, we've gotten plenty of good evil good, but we've never gotten going evil and just staying evil.
Yeah, bringing back Palpatine was the biggest mistake Disney made in that whole thing, because it was, as you're saying, it was Kylo's series. It should have been more centered around him in the first place.
Should have been his trilogy.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the villain, though. And by making Palpatine come back, as a Poe once said, somehow Palpatine returned.
So I there's a lot of people who don't like Last Jedi, so I'm sorry I'm gonna piss all of you off, but I really do like The Last Jedi. 2 of the things I like most about that movie is that, first, Rian Johnson made Kylo Ren a badass. He was just he was whiny in Episode 7, but he was a badass in Episode 8. And also that even though we'll get to Snoke in a minute, but even though Snoke went out like a dipshit, they were setting the stage for Kylo Ren to be the final villain, not just of the trilogy, of the whole saga.
Yes,
they were setting up the last Skywalker to be the final villain.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then they undercut it. But anyway, back on track here. Kylo is my number 4.
Okay.
So that leaves who? That leaves Dooku, Grievous, and then Snoke. Please don't hate me for this, but I'm gonna put a I think I'm gonna put Dooku above Grievous here. Grievous is going pretty low on my list.
Yeah.
Because Dooku, I mean, he's the best political idealist in the galaxy.
Yeah. He's just calm under pressure.
He's always calm, and he fights like a proper swordsman. He's got like the one-arm stance, the curved hilt, the fact that he doesn't even like igniting his lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
He would rather prefer to negotiate his way out of things. He knows all the ways of the Jedi and all the ways of the Sith.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I felt sorry for the man when Palpatine threw him under the bus at the last second so that he could use Anakin instead. But moving on to my number 6, we have General Grievous, the OG cyborg.
Mm-hmm.
Now, 2003 Clone Wars show General Grievous is at the top.
Yes.
Skywalker Saga General Grievous is he's a pussy. He's got bronchitis. He lasted like 8 seconds in his duel with Obi-Wan before he had to start using his fists. And then he went out like a bitch. He just threw Palpatine over the cliff and then got shot at. Like, there were so many ways he could have gotten out of that. He could have kicked Obi-Wan's ass, but instead he just stood there and got lit the hell up after doing nothing. If you take Grievous out of Revenge of the Sith, it's the same movie. It's the exact same. It doesn't change. Mm-hmm. But last, Supreme Leader Snoke.
Yeah.
They overhyped Snoke in 7. They overcooked him in the marketing for Last Jedi, and then he went out without doing anything. and then as if they could have made him an interesting character after that. They could have pulled something cool, like it was Darth Plagueis, and it just goes to show how truly powerful Kylo Ren is that he was able to take out Snoke like that. But instead, he was quite literally a science experiment. He's in a vat in Palpatine's lab.
Yes.
Like,
He's like, why was he making multiple Snoke?
He had multiple Snokes?
It's like, what? It's like, what is going on here, Disney?
Fuck the Rise of Skywalker. But that's my ranking.
I will say this, like, I don't like The Last Jedi that much, but I will say I can understand how why someone would like it, right? Because it did set up the third movie to be good.
It did.
So yeah, the day when I'm going to lose it is when I meet someone who liked The Rise of Skywalker.
God, my friend got pissed at me because up until last year, I didn't have Rise of Skywalker as my least favorite Star Wars movie. And I told him that it was second to last, right above Attack of the Clones. And he gave me so much shit for that within half an hour, I realized that I needed to move Rise of Skywalker to the bottom.
Yeah, it's a pretty awful one. But my fourth question, coincidentally, you asked your Star Wars question because this isn't really a Star Wars question, but it does have Daisy Ridley involved. Last week we did Daisy Ridley versus Emma Watson. Wait, no, sorry, not Emma Watson. Natalie
Portman. Did you just spoil your question?
No, I didn't. But
okay.
But we will have to discuss what I accidentally said another time. But yes, last week we did Daisy Ridley versus Natalie Portman. So this week I'm going to ask you. I'll have you guess who this actress is, okay? She's blonde, also British. Just say it when you think you know. 38, and she was recently in a Disney movie.
Is it fucking Scarlett Johansson?
No.
Okay.
I only chose to compare them because they're both British. And I think that they're equally.
Oh, wait, Scarlett Johansson's not British. I'm retarded.
Yeah, yeah.
I got blonde in Disney movie, and I was like, well, she was in Black Widow. Okay. Yeah. So let me guess again. Now that I realize I'm stupid.
Yes.
Are there any more clues you can give me?
Okay, I'll give you one more clue. This movie was an adventure movie.
Oh, it's Emily Blunt.
Yes. Yeah. So
you can't.
I saw Jungle Cruise like a few days ago. I do this because I wait a couple weeks after movies are released, and then I get $5 tickets on Tuesdays for my cheapskates out there. Life tip. But I recently saw this, and I'd never seen an Emily Blunt movie, and I was kind of struck by her beauty. Honestly, I think she's just as beautiful as Daisy Ridley. I don't think one is more than the other. I think they're both, considering that Emily Blunt is 10 years older than her, I think they're equally beautiful. So what's your take? So essentially the question is, who would you take for looks, or are they equal, and who's the better actor?
All right, first off, go fuck yourself asking me this existential shit. I'll answer better actress first.
Okay.
Maybe it's just because I've seen her in more things. Emily Blunt, probably for actress.
Yeah, just from the sample size that I had from Jungle Cruise, I definitely think she's a better actor than Daisy Ridley. Mm-hmm. This is a little bit of a weird take, but I think Daisy Ridley's acting is more suitable for like plays, like theater. Okay. Yeah, I don't think her. Yeah. Okay, well then here's the existential question: who's better looking?
My dog's trying to get into my room right now. Okay. All right, well, here's the one issue. Is that anytime I think about how good-looking Emily Blunt is, I always think about who she's married to.
Who is she married to?
John Krasinski. John Krasinski got Emily Blunt.
Wow, I did not know that, and I even Googled her. I didn't even look at that. She's
Yeah,
married to John Krasinski.
she's
Wow,
married to John Krasinski, and I have a really funny
damn.
story
John
about that
Krasinski.
after.
John Krasinski in his fucking bag. Talk about an upgrade from Pam Beasley. Damn.
Yeah. So this is where I answer the question, but don't actually answer the question. So, God damn it! Hold on, I gotta deal with my dog.
Yeah, I hear the scratching on the door.
Fucking hate you so much, dude. You can't ask me this.
Okay, so I actually just Googled this. There's an interesting Reddit. It's called Celeb Battles, and they had a cuteness battle between Daisy Ridley and Emily Blunt, and Daisy Ridley won 66% of the votes.
Did
So
she?
there was 161 votes. Daisy Ridley got 107, and Emily Blunt got 54. Kind of
Okay.
that big
I
of a.
think here's how I'll answer it. In terms of going on a single date with someone,
Okay.
Daisy Ridley.
Okay.
If they'd said like, hey, you can go on a single date with one person, I'd pick Daisy Ridley.
Okay.
If it was a long-term thing, I'd probably pick Emily Blunt.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Respectable take. At least you're able to choose between to make a distinction like that because I can't even, man. They're like dead even to me.
Anyway, I got a story I can tell you about Emily Blunt being married to John Krasinski.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
So John Krasinski told this story on like a bunch of late night shows. Mm-hmm. So in 2017, Emily Blunt was filming Mary Poppins Returns.
Okay.
It was either 2017 or 2018, but she was filming Mary Poppins Returns. So she was off in the UK, and John Krasinski was here stateside. And so at one point, he had finished working on something. He's like, I'm going to go get a plane ticket. I'm going to go visit. So he gets his plane ticket. He lands in the UK, and he says, like, he could see it on the guy's face in the airport in London. The dude's like, another American. Yeah. So he sitting there doing the paper stuff he needs to do, and he's like, what are you here for? He's like, oh, I'm here to see my wife. She's an actor. And he's like, actually, no, he started it out by saying he's an actor. And the guy was like, what have I seen you in? He said we did an American remake of The Office. The security guy didn't like that answer. So he's like, that was strike one. And then he said he was here to see his wife, who was an actor. And the guy said, have I heard of her? And he said, you might have. Her name's Emily Blunt. And the TSA guy just looked up with just pure anger in his eyes, and he's like, you? And then John Krasinski nodded, and he like aggressively stamped the passport. He's like, go, get out of here.
He was that mad about some American guy being married to a British lady?
I think he was that upset about some American guy being married to Emily Blunt.
I see. Very interesting.
Yeah, so they're a thing.
All those Brits and their beans on toast.
Brits and their beans on toast. Dude, all British food is just frying meat and covering it in bread and then dumping vinegar on it.
Very true, but have you ever had fish and chips? Oh my gosh.
I love fish and chips.
So good. Dude, you got to come out to Florida sometime for that seafood. It's hitting different out here. But with that being said, let's transition into our final and fifth questions. We just hit the hour mark, so we're right on schedule.
All right. You think Jesus was a tits guy or an ass guy?
Oh my gosh. Dude, you know what's crazy? Dude, we must be aligned in some weird way because my fifth question involves religion. Dude, you can't make, dude, it's really destiny that we're making this podcast. Okay, was Jesus a tits or an ass guy? So we have to take into consideration the era that he was in. I don't feel like the woman's ass was as praised then as it is today. Because think about it, a big reason for women's asses being like put on a pedestal today is because of workouts, because of the clothes that women are allowed to wear now, like leggings, skinny jeans, and whatnot. And I just feel like Jesus was a man of his time, and I feel like he was probably tits guy, because there probably wasn't nearly as much good ass walking around back then as there is today.
Oh, see, you actually brought like history into it.
Yeah.
Here's my reasoning for why I think Jesus was a tits guy instead of an ass guy.
Okay.
Is that Jesus was helping a lot of people. He was talking to a lot of people. So he was seeing a lot of people face to face.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be much easier seeing people face to face to just grab a quick glance of the tits than it would be to go out of your way to admire the ass.
Okay.
So I think both it was simpler because he's talking to women face to face. It's simpler for him to look down real quick. And also, all the other people, they aren't able to see it because it's more subtle. They're being like, ooh, you know? So as much as it could have been a sign at the times, I like to think it was because it was just easier for him to see the tits than the ass.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Yeah, that's a good question, John. Jeez, you brought out some good ones this week.
And to any Christians, Catholics, any people of the Bible that are offended by that question, I actually got this from a tweet, and I would like to read to you the response to this particular tweet because it might calm all of you down who are upset about this. It says, "This is not a disrespectful question, by the way. If you're Catholic, you believe Christ was fully human, fully divine. To deny that he had sexual temptations implies that he wasn't fully human, making you a blasphemer, punishable by excommunication for most of history." So
that, technically, I'm Catholic. I'm not a practicing Catholic, but I was baptized Catholic. So that's a good question, John. Wow. I can't believe I love how someone defended it too. So I will get into my question. Do you think it's more likely that there's no God, or that God doesn't care, or that he has a sick sense of humor? Because we need something to explain all the weird animals and suffering in the world.
Well, I'm going to just rule out him having a twisted sense of humor.
Okay.
I definitely don't think that's the option. So it's either that there's a better chance he doesn't exist or that he just doesn't care.
Yeah, that he can't make interventions. Like he's not as powerful as people say he is, and he just doesn't really give a shit either. Or
So
that
he's like the Watcher. He's like the Watcher. It's from the Marvel What If show. He just observes everything. He watches everything, but he doesn't actually interfere.
He's like casually watching TV. He's not invested in it. He's like, oh, whatever.
Okay. I personally think there's a better chance that he's just not real than that he doesn't care. Because I think if you've been alive for however many billions of years he's been alive, I mean, the universe is like, 13.8 billions of years old, and there's a good chance he probably existed before that. I feel like you would get bored and just want to start screwing with stuff.
Okay.
And so I honestly feel like there's a better chance that he just doesn't exist than him existing and just being too lazy to do anything.
Okay, that's a good point, but I'll bring a counter argument into this. What if, think about how big the universe is and how vast it is. If there is a God who created this universe and there's hundreds of thousands of planets that have life and sentient life, what if this is just like a reality TV side project for him? Like he just created a planet that he knew would be great entertainment.
Fuck you and your existential shit today. I don't know. I mean, it's possible.
What if we are like the Spike TV or the TLC for aliens? Like the Earth Channel. It'll be like this season on Earth.
I don't know. I personally just don't buy it. By the whole like higher power thing. I mean, I'm not like an atheist though. I'm an agnostic. So if someone comes at me with enough irrefutable evidence, I'll be like, okay, yeah, there's a God. Yeah. But there has been nothing I have read or nothing that has shown me any proof that he ever existed in the first place. Like, I mean, the whole idea of like heaven and hell came from people who would claim that God spoke to them.
Yeah.
But no one saw them do this. No one was with them. They just went home. They were sitting on their ass, and they're like, "Hey, I have a really funny prank I'm gonna pull on the guys tomorrow."
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that is an interesting point. So I'm actually gonna agree with you on this one, despite giving you a counter argument. I would say it's more likely that he doesn't exist. And with all that being said, John, do you have any final thoughts?
You better not include that shit about.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was like, dude, I did not expect you to phrase it like that. That was, John had some interesting final thoughts, but we can't share them. I don't really have any.
The record.
Yeah, I don't really have any final thoughts. I felt like this was a good episode. It's probably going to be about exactly an hour long once we get everything dumbed down in editing. And that's all that's been for this episode today. This has been another episode of Back of the Class. If you enjoyed this podcast, or if you just want to see this podcast grow and that's something that interests you, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. All of me and John's socials will be in the description. And with all that being said, this is the Back of the Class signing off.